Okay, Christmas Day has come and it's gone, but if you are a fan of the NBA, then the holiday was quite the day for you. 5 NBA games with marquee matchups of the day, and Hoops fans, they were treated to some great games. Now, there's been a lot of discussion lately about the NBA product and also the talk of the association having to deal with NFL games being played on Christmas Day. So what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about all of that with some nuance. We're going to do that. And joining me for this chat is a contributor for TrueHoop. His name is Jarod Hector. Jarod, happy holidays. Hope all is well. Did you enjoy your NBA Christmas Wednesday this week?
Happy holidays to you, Dex. Yes, I enjoyed my Christmas Day NBA matchups, had people over, had the games, all games on all day. Listen, they were compelling and exciting, so I had a great time.
There you go. The games were fantastic. Absolutely great. And Jarod, 5 games, as we mentioned, on Christmas Day in the association. All 5 games were decided by 10 points or less. 4 of the 5 were decided by 6 points or less. What did you make of the NBA product that we saw on Christmas Day? And did these games do anything to quiet the chatter about the NBA having an issue with their product after? On the court? Not after the court, on the court. Did any issue with that?
The big thing with that is that in any one game, you're going to have a potential for greatness or a potential for not so much, right? And then everything in between. I think we really lucked out and had 5, as you mentioned, really awesome games. 4 of the 5 decided by less than 6 points. The other game, the Suns pulled away late. That was late in the fourth where they got up. But that game was close all the while, and it was only a 10-point win, if I'm not mistaken. Look, you got a great night. You had stars show out. Wemby put on a show at MSG, even though the Knicks won that game, as did Mikal Bridges. LeBron and Steph put on a show at 8. Then we had, of course, KD and Jokic later on in the night. So we had stars step up and do big-time things. But ultimately, the conversation around the product, I think, is misguided, Dexter. There's never been more talent than there is in the NBA right now, right? The issue is that there's just too many games. There's too much of a surplus of games. So the excitement and the novelty and what is special is not there, because while Christmas Day was great Wednesday night, just about every other team that didn't play Wednesday night is in action tonight. And then Friday night, all those teams can be back in action again. So I said to you earlier today, the Spurs play the Knicks Wednesday night. Wemby, huge game, awesome. But he plays Brooklyn Friday night. Like, what's so special about the Wednesday game that's not special about the Friday game, or vice versa, right? Like, there's just too many. We see it too regularly.
Yeah, right. And scarcity matters, and that kind of ties into where we're going to go next, right? Because the NFL, one of the benefits they have is scarcity, right, in the amount of games. And they tried to do what I'll call a hostile takeover of Christmas Day, which, as everybody knows, in America, that's a day that's usually reserved to showcase hoops. At least that's how we knew it, right? Now, following the Lakers win over the Warriors on Christmas Day, in a post-game interview, LeBron James, he had something to say, and he said that, quote, he loves the NFL, but Christmas is our day. Now, the product that the NFL had, which nobody ever talks about, right, with their 2 games on the holiday, was not particularly good. And next year, which I think people should note, Christmas falls on a Thursday, which means the NFL will likely have a triple header on that day. So, question for me, Jarod, is should the NBA be concerned about having to go head-to-head with the NFL on Christmas Day going forward, even if the product from the NFL ain't that good?
Yes, because for what we talked about before, scarcity, right? So those 2 games Thursday last night in the NFL were blowouts, right? So they weren't great games. And I have not seen the numbers yet, but I can almost guarantee that any one of those games by themselves crushed the combined NBA ratings from last night. And the NBA had good ratings for it last night, right? Every game was at least a 2 or higher. Of course, the Lakers, Warriors were the number 1, and then Suns, Nuggets were number 2 in terms of ratings. No surprise there that the league's 3 biggest stars, what happens to be the oldest stars in LeBron, Steph, and KD, were playing in those games. But I think, the NBA should be worried. Again, the NFL has that scarcity model working for it. An example I like to use, Dexter, is like if you're in a group chat and someone has tickets to an NFL game, it's so fast where someone's like, yep, I'm in. Take me in, no problem. Somebody scoops them up. You got NBA tickets, it's like, because again, hey, I got tickets to see the Knicks tonight. What do I got to worry about tonight for? I can go see them in January or March or February, right? Like, I mean, there's just so many opportunities to see them that there is no urgency there. Whereas the NFL, I only got 8 home games, right? 9, right. Like, that's it. Like, I got to go. But the NBA, I can see them anytime I want.
Right. They don't have that urgency. And then I think the other thing of note with the NFL and what they did on Christmas Day is obviously they had these games on Netflix. First time you had Christmas Day games on Netflix. And then I'm going to just say this because the NFL clearly gave no damns on Christmas Day. They're out here, they threw Mariah Carey and Beyonce, with the whole product out there. And it makes you think the NFL is like, yeah, Christmas Day feels like it's ours. That's how they feel.
Every day of the week is the NFL's day now. That's what they come to tell you. Like, and that is that. If you're the NBA, you've got to be worried about this. However, Dexter, they're not, because they just signed a brand new broadcast rights deal for $77 billion. So Adam Silver and his owners are very happy because they're rolling in dough. But fan interest in the product, and again, not sickos like us who watch the NBA all the time, right. Casual fans.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. It's really going to be intriguing to see how this goes forward. Like I said, next year on Christmas Day, likely to be a triple header for the NFL going up against the NBA. That's going to be very interesting. So to put a bow on this particular topic, with the NBA showing that, you know, there can be competitive regular season games. We saw this with the NBA Cup. We saw it with the slate of games that were served on Christmas Day. What does what we've seen in terms of those games mean for the league and how their product is actually discussed going forward?
Well, that's a big problem, right, Dexter? And I always talk to you about this. I think the NBA's media partners do a very bad job of talking about the game and the stars, right? I mentioned LeBron, KD, and Steph because those are the people that all the casuals know. But you and I know this league is full of amazing players. But again, had you taken out Lakers, Warriors, and Suns, Nuggets from the last two games, and instead you put in OKC, Houston, and Memphis Clippers, those ratings would have been terrible. And it's not because those don't have great players. Hello, John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is an MVP candidate. All these amazing talent, right? But people don't know about it because the rest of the NBA's broadcast partners don't promote them in that same way, right? So that is a problem the league's going to have to work on. You mentioned the NBA Cup. That gave the players stakes and something to say, okay, this is different than the regular season game because we're competing for a chance to win this particular title, right? Whereas, again, it's not that players don't compete hard in the regular season. I want to get that misnomer out of here. But what they do is like, look, man, we have 82 more of these to go. And on top of that, if we're good, we're going to make the playoffs. I'm going to play 100-plus games this season. I cannot go all out for 82 plus. I won't make it. I will break. And so they pace themselves, right? That's the whole idea. But if you, shock of all shocks, reduce the season, right, and limit it to maybe twice every 7 days you had a game, not only would you see higher competition, less injuries, more meaningful, all things, revenue would also skyrocket, as would fan interest. But for some reason, the NBA can't see forest for the trees.
Well, one of the things you mentioned there that I think is very interesting in this conversation, Jarod, is that a lot of the talk has been about the product on the court, but the thing that you mentioned in terms of teams and other stars, it sounds like it's more of a marketing issue, and maybe that's something we need to talk a little bit more about when it comes to the NBA. Okay, last thing for me here, Jarod, because we're going to bring it back a little bit locally here in New York. Christmas Day is usually a day where people say, okay, this is where the NBA season really starts. The Knicks, they won 5 straight games, big win on Christmas Day over the Spurs, 20-10 on the season. Their defense has been trending upwards this month. What are you going to be keeping an eye on with the Knickerbockers as they move towards the 2025 portion of their season?
Health. That's my biggest thing with the Knicks. This team is good, right? Jalen Brunson, I mean, they're elite offensively. Jalen Brunson, Cat has been a revelation. Look, all you Knicks fans who were worried about Cat, I told you that dude was good. Like, Cat's awesome. Like, and Mikal Bridges, that whole thing about his shooting form, what's going on, things are looking fine now, aren't they? I am not worried about this team whatsoever, Dexter, on either side of the floor. What I am concerned about is, come April, after they've logged 8 bazillion minutes, because Tibbs doesn't believe in rotations and rest, at least not to the extent that he should, how much energy they're going to have in the tank to make a deep playoff run. Because this team, as constituted, they are good enough to make a conference finals run. I just don't know if they're going to be healthy enough come time being.
That is going to be the concern with them. You talk about the players who've played extremely well for the Knicks thus far and showed out some of the fans having concerns about Karl-Anthony Towns, about Mikal Bridges. Those guys have been just fine. Spoiler alert for you. You heard Jarod talk there about the Knicks' health. That is going to be a topic we will be talking a lot about with the Knicks in the coming months. Jarod, you're going to have to come on New York Got Game and talk about that. And hopefully you make the Knicks fans happier this year than you did with your appearance last year. Because last year you had some Knicks fans a little upset because you said some truths, and they didn't like that too much. But this year,
listen, man.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna give you no hot takes. I'm always gonna tell the truth. Look, I want the city's better when the Knicks are good. Like it's man, last year was awesome. You walk outside, people got their Knicks hats on. People, when the Knicks are good, this city is alive in a way that no other sports team makes it. And that includes the Yankees and perennial winners. It's just a vibe when the Knicks are really good. So I want that for the city and for the Knicks franchise. I just worry, will it happen?
Well, hey, if the health isn't good, that means the vibes won't be good. We will have to talk more about that at another time. Great discussion around the NBA. That is Jarod Hector. Check out the work he does on TrueHoop, his contributions to them. Great site for everybody to check out. Jarod, happy holidays once again, and we will talk soon.
Thank you.